All right, so hopefully you guys can see my screen, and here we have total market vision. To apply this, all you have to simply do is turn it on, and there's a few key settings that you actually have to look at before you're doing this. So the first one is your anchor period, and also you want to make sure that you're adjusting your time frame. What I recommend for day trading is going to be during the session. That's typically intraday VWAP, and we're just going to use this as our mean reversion targets because the basis of this indicator is mean reversion rates. So typically what mean reversion means is that we have kind of an average or a number that this stock day should end at, or a number that the price should be at. And that's the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. You can go ahead and Google what that is. I'm not going to get into it that much, but basically we are looking at how we can take advantage of mean reversions. And simply put it, we use statistical modeling. So things like RSI, MACD, Z-score, stochastic oscillation, and numerous other factors to determine the probability or our reversal factor here, which is not directly probability, but how likely it is to actually have a reversion target, to actually get to that reversion target. Great. And you also have another key thing here, which is SMA 325, which is used as a big support and resistance. And another thing is you get to see your current swing high and swing lows, your Fibonacci levels, and your 9 and 20 EMA. Great. So now how are we actually looking at increasing our reversal factor? Our reversal factor pretty much tells us how likely it is to reverse at that current moment. And it's not just like probability. It's not just 100% reversal probability. It's how strong it could be. A reversal could be in its reversal factor. So for example, it's 20% right now. 20% is going to be like, okay, there's a small chance that we see reversal here. So you can see that it's still moving down. But typically the lower the reversal factor, that means it has a lot of strength in the movement that's going, in the direction that it's going to currently. So for example, we're going to that right now. I'm actually thinking about taking puts soon. So you can see here on this bottom channel, looking decent. So reversal factor is still 5%. And so we're seeing some sort of movement. It's going up, then reversal factor, it's going up. But we're typically using this to catch like knives or ultra pumps. Let's give an example of one place that you might actually look to take this. By the way, on the time frame for the intraday, I would usually like to use 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and 15 minutes. 1 hour is sometimes okay, but 15 minutes is usually the max for this. Great. So let's use just a bar replay real quick. Excuse me. You can see that it's 15%, but you can also use a number of factors here. For example, if RSI is above 70, or if Z-score is above 2, that's some good indicators there. Z-score is always a good indicator. And Z-score basically is standard deviation, standard deviations from the mean. And so you can see here it's 25% and 30%, 35%. So now we can see that it's starting to move in our direction and actually dumping. So 20% is not always the best. I usually like to take it for higher probability setups, like at least 50% is always a good threshold for me. So that's something that you should always look out for. Great. And you can see that Z-score is not that much, so it's not going away from the mean reversion target. Typically what you want to see is Z-score coming at 1.5 absolute value or greater, and then that's typically how you would get to that mean reversion target. It's a big suggestion of that. And so we use a combination of factors here to see and determine how likely we are to get to the reversion target. Now, if you want to go on bigger time frames, there's things like you can go to 1 hour, and then of course you can adjust session to week. And since it's Monday, we'll do like 2 month. Great. And turns out that month is there. Great. And then you see the reversion target is here. And that's something we're actively moving towards, right? We dumped towards that already. And actually you see this Fibonacci retracement level, 50%, there's a good chance that we can make a move upwards. And as you can see here, it always tries to touch the VWAP, or at least goes through it whenever it's going too extreme. So let's say, for example, I did a bar replay. I'm all the way over here, 50% reversal factor on the hourly time frame. So this is like when I enter my swings. And then you can see overnight, it makes a good move after a few days. Gives us exactly what we want to VWAP reversion target. Okay. And pretty much you want to use these tools to, of course, get your total market vision. So make sure you're always keeping a watch on Z-score, because not always the reversal factor matters like 100% of the time. You want to watch RSI, Z-score as your first little indicators here, and then use your price action related things. So for example, SMA 325, which is support and resistance. And then of course we have the 9 and 20 EMA here to guide your direction. For example, if price action is a bit slower on the 1 minute time frame, you're going to want to wait for you're actually going to want to wait for the crossing, the EMA crossing, for you to make a move, or things like this. It just makes you have a better, clear sense of direction. And typically, what you want to do is play with that trend, of course. So, for example, if you wanted to play mean reversion targets, if the 9 and 20 is going here, it's going to be a bit risky. But if you have enough volume, this is also meant to catch knives. So, of course, use this as a big support and resistance. Use this for direction. Use VWAP for the reversion targets, and then these indicators on the side. And there's big updates coming soon, but I think it's a really complete tool for now. I did forget to mention one thing. We also have order blocks here. This is for supply and demand zones. So high liquidity areas that you can target. So this is supply zones, and then the green are demand zones, which also factor into that. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully this helps you out in your next session.